In the depths of our ancient past, where myth and reality interweave, we experience a horde of divine beings and divinities that significantly impact the otherworldly lives of the people of old. Among the most seasoned of these civilizations is Sumer, regularly respected as the support of human civilization. Their otherworldly domain was a complex arrangement of divinities, each holding particular parts and capacities, eventually overseeing the cosmos's course. One figure stands out among this firmament chain of command: Enki, also known as Ea in Akkadian and Babylonian mythology. Enki, the Sumerian god of water, information, insidiousness, and creation, held a conspicuous position as the master of the soil and the waters. He was respected for his shrewdness, inventiveness, and inventiveness. Enki is broadly credited with setting up Eridu, one of the most punctual cities in Sumer, and starting human civilization. Our information about Enki and his partners comes from old writings and engravings, including the Enuma Elish and the Epic of Gilgamesh. The Enuma Elish, the Babylonian epic of creation, depicts the creation of the world and the firmament pecking order, counting the birth and deeds of Enki. The Epic of Gilgamesh, a quintessential piece of old writing, also gives impressions of the divine realm and Enki's part in it together. These sources paint a distinctive picture of the Sumerian universe, giving an establishment to dive more deeply into Enki's part, particularly concerning humanity's beginnings and advancement within the heart of Sumerian mythology. We discover a special bunch of divinities, the Anunnaki, whose titles can be freely deciphered as those of illustrious blood or sibling of Anu sky. The Anunnaki holds a basic place within the Sumerian pantheon, frequently related to the domains of the sky, soil, and black market. Their parts were changed, extending from ethereal chairmen and judges of humankind to controllers of human fate. The Anunnaki were not a homogeneous substance, but maybe a complex progression of divine creatures. The sky god was ordinarily recognized as the pioneer of the Anunnaki. Be that as it may, the real control over Earth's issues regularly fell to his descendants, specifically Enlil, the ruler of the discus, and Enki, the god of water and intelligence. Enki's space was primarily the watery chasm known as the Abzu or Apsu, which was thought to be the source of all fresh water, counting streams, wells, and rain. But his impact amplified past insignificant topography as the conveyor of wisdom and benefactor of expressions and creations. Enki played a noteworthy part in creating and protecting civilization. The ethereal pecking order was also checked by various connections, unions, and contentions. Enki's relationship with his kin, especially Enlil and Inanna, was essential. These connections affected numerous legendary accounts and formed the collective intelligence, laws, and societal standards in Old Sumer. Be that as it may, it was Enki's particular affiliation with humankind and his alleged part in our creation and advancement that set him apart and blessed him with a special place in old mythology. The investigation of this specific viewpoint leads us into the captivating domain of hereditary alteration in creation myths and the first light of humankind. Enki takes us into the domain of images, and in iconography, the old Sumerians portrayed their gods in different ways, each image and attribute holding significant centrality. These for Enki give a window into his divine persona. And in Sumerian cosmology, Enki is frequently spoken to holding a scepter with a ram's head, symbolizing his specialist and association with richness. The smash in Sumerian culture was an image of virility and imaginative life drive. This brings us back to Enki's part as a maker god and sustainer of life on soil. Enki additionally habitually appears situated and encompassed by streaming water, which is the source of all life. Emphasizes his part as the life-giver as the god of fresh water. He was accepted to have control over the streams and oceans, frequently delineated controlling the stream of water from his shoulders or vase, which underlined his specialist over the life-giving and destructive angles of water. Another powerful image related to Enki is the mess articulated by May in Sumerian culture. Emis were divine orders or sacred powers that epitomized the basic concepts and components of civilization, extending from truth and equity to music and craftsmanship as the god of intelligence and information. Enki frequently appeared in ownership of these Emis, symbolizing his part in presenting civilization and culture to humankind. At last, the image of the caduceus, two serpents entwined around a central staff, is additionally frequently related to Enki. A few researchers contend that this image, speaking to Enki's part in hereditary building and the creation of humankind, prefigures the present-day image for DNA unloading these images, not as it strengthened. The account of Enki as a maker divinity and god of shrewdness also plans for us to dive deeper into the interesting claims of his part in hereditarily altering early people. Currently, let us dig deeper into Sumerian writing to reveal the accounts that cast Enki as a master shaper or maker divinity. These writings, recorded on cuneiform tablets thousands of years ago, bear declarations to the social and otherworldly ethos of the Sumerian civilization, and Enki's place inside that universe is noticeable among the many stories. Enki is the story of Enki and Ninmah, where his role as a shaper of life is emphasized. Ninmah, moreover, known as Nin, was another powerful god related to the soil and richness. The story starts within the city of Eridu, where the divine beings have assembled for a devour. After much drinking, a debate emerges between Ninmah and Enki about who holds the control to decide the destinies and shapes of life. Ninmah, in her pride, chooses to illustrate her capacities by making a few creatures, each with an interesting physical irregularity. At that point, she challenges Enki to either mend these creatures or deliver them to society. Enki, showing his shrewdness and imagination ability, does not endeavor to remedy the irregularities Ninmah created, but instead gives each being a reason. A person incapable of walking is designated as a counsel to the Lord, and another incapable of granting birth is set within the sanctuary to help in ceremonies in this way. Enki turns what Ninmah considered irregularities into interesting characteristics, giving upon these creatures not as it were a put in society but respect, and the reason this account paints a compelling picture of Enki's capacities as a shaper of life, certifying his inventive ability and his shrewdness. Be that as it may, it's in another tale where Enki's role within the hereditary adjustment of early people gets to be clearer, a story that takes us into the domain of Old Sumerian convictions around the daybreak of humankind transitioning from the story of Enki and Ninmah. We presently wander into the antiquated Sumerian account encompassing the Anunnaki's journey for gold. This myth typifies their need for gold, and the significant part is that this component played within the story of humanity's beginning. According to the Sumerian cosmogony, the Anunnaki at first came to soil looking for gold. Their domestic planet Nibiru, or the planet of crossing, as per the translation of the old writings, had a breaking down climate.